Number 123 of What Does This Button Do? Pretty cool. It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets with us, Geeks on Tour. Our beginner's lesson today is how to make a blog, but first, Chris has a quick tip for you. What do you got there, Chris?
All right, and that quick tip is on phones or tablets. How do you see what operating system version you're on? If you ever have any problems with your device or even your apps, one of the first questions any helper is going to ask you is, what is your operating system and version? So the operating system is either Android or iOS. On Android, the way you see, I'm going to show on my Samsung phone. Looks a little bright, doesn't it? There, I'm going to show on my Samsung phone how to find which version of Android it's on. So you need your settings. Lots of different ways to get to settings. I'm going to do the way I showed in our last episode, and that's by using the search box. I just type setting, set, and there it is. And there are different sections in your setting, wireless and networks, device, and yours might be on tabs going across. I'm looking for system, and it's all the way at the bottom, about phone. This tells me that I am on Android version 6.0.1. And that's kind of old now, but the phone is just really old. I'm not going to upgrade it to 7.
Mine is.
I know.
All the way up to date.
Nee. All right. On an iPhone, it's also settings. And then it's general and about. And down here somewhere we see version 10.3.3. And so that is the version. The next one that's coming out in a month or so is version 11.
Oh,
and
boy.
That's going to be a big one. That's going to be a big change. Now, what is this? 14G60. Well, that's the build. They won't normally need to know that, but that's what it is. All right, so that's how you find out what your operating system version number is.
Cool. All right. Let's get the right picture here. Hi, everyone. I'm Jim, and here together with my wife, Chris, we are Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your Android phone or your iPad tablet? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
You got to keep learning all the time.
That's our job, right?
That's the only way. And even then, you're not going to be able to get it all. But we are geeks who teach. And we think the best way to learn is a little bit at a time, over a lifetime, on a regular basis. So that's why we came up with this weekly live show. So whatever information we have is current as of today, is the best of our knowledge.
So, Chris, where are we now?
We're back home in Fort Lauderdale in our stick and brick after our last stop of the summer tour was the solar eclipse in South Carolina.
Yeah, we had to boogie pretty fast to get out of New Jersey and down to South Carolina in time for this. And we wanted to be there in place the day before, the night before. So we made it down there. And it was just really an amazing.
And now you did the research to find this place.
Right. I found this place. It's a Harvest Host location. It was a winery in South Carolina near Newberry, and it was right on the line of Totality. And they were having an event. So we made reservations there. Originally, I thought we'd just kind of hang out somewhere, but nah, there was just too much chance of traffic and things that I didn't want to drive through. So that's how we ended up there. It was kind of
the whole eclipse is 2 to 3 hours, but the totality, which is so important,
right,
is only 2.5 minutes. So you wanted to make sure you were in place, and it was awesome.
Hmm.
Thank you for making those arrangements. I
Yep.
loved it.
My pleasure. Believe me. So today's show is all about blogs, and the beginner's lesson is how do you make a blog? If you have questions during the live show, this recording, please use the chat window. And by Wednesday afternoon, this episode should be up live on thebuttonshow.com, and you can leave comments there, and we appreciate that. We do invite you to become a member of Geeks on Tour, and you get all kinds of benefits, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. So see our website, geeksontour.com, and click on the weekly class menu, scroll down to show the archives. We have 123 of these things now, and it's pretty cool. So Chris, how do you make a blog?
Well, first, a little bit, I guess. What is a blog? I chose this picture of constructing a house with tilt walls to give the idea that a blog or a website is your home on the web. And building a blog is kind of like building a house. It is a website, and it can be very detailed and very complex, or it can be a kit, kind of like these tilt walls. It can be for a personal journal, or it can be a full-blown website. It's known as instant publishing. So blogging is using Blogger. That's what we recommend because it's free, it's easy, it's connected to Google Photos. There's no maintenance, and we've been using it for years, and we have dozens of tutorial videos on our website for members. I put the picture of this apartment building in here because unlike building your own house and designing every corner of it, an apartment building is all built and maintained. You just pick your door and add the furniture. That's kind of what using a blogging tool like Blogger is. It's also known as a platform. Now, the other most popular blogging platform that you may have heard of is WordPress. A lot of people don't understand that there are two flavors to WordPress. So it is another blogging tool and platform like Blogger, but it's a lot more sophisticated, which means more complex. And the two flavors are self-hosted. For a self-hosted WordPress website, you need to find and pay a web host. So it's kind of like building a house. You have to have the land. You have to own the land, and you get that land, that web space, web hosting from GoDaddy or Bluehost, or there's hundreds of them. You assemble the building blocks, and they're called plugins, and then it's your job to maintain the structure and to add your content. Now, WordPress.com uses the same WordPress design tools, but it's in an apartment building. You don't have to bring the land. There's free web hosting, and all the structure is provided and maintained. You arrange the furniture and provide the content. So WordPress.com is really more like Blogger, but it's still more complex. I mean, I've used a lot of them, and Blogger is the easiest. So that's what we teach for making your personal blog. Did you know that the word isn't actually blog? That's one that we've made up. The word is weblog because it's on the web and it's a log, like a journal, dated entries. So that makes weblog. Then we've just shortened it to call it a blog, and it's become a verb. I blog, you blog, we blog. The definition specifically is it is a type of website where log entries are displayed in reverse chronological order. Blogs can be personal journals with text, pictures, and videos, and that's what we expect most people who learn from us are doing. but they can also be club or business websites. They have dated entries and or static pages, and we'll show you some of those. I push all the time. I'm a really evangelist for telling clubs to make their website using Blogger because it's free forever. And it's so easy that you can have several members of the club that know how to use it. I hear so many clubs that lose their webmaster and now they don't know what to do. Their website is dead. So people ask then, well, what's the difference between a blog and a website? Well,
yeah, somebody just asked that on the comments.
we know this class. We've given this class a lot in live audiences. This is the first time we've decided to do it here. So a blog is a website. It's just a particular type of website. It's on the web, but it's like living in an apartment instead of living in your own house. You are on rented or borrowed land. And it's just drop dead easy. You don't have to know how to make a website. Without the blog services, such as Blogger or WordPress, you would need to know HTML, that's the language of the web, and FTP, how to move things back and forth from your computer to the web. But with Blogger or WordPress.com, you don't need to know any of that. And there are lots of others. There's Wix, there's My Trip Journal, there's lots of them, but Blogger is what I think is the easiest and what we teach.
Okay. Little Ann's question is she meant between the Google Blogger and the Google site.
Yeah. Google site is for making custom designed web pages. Google Blogger is the apartment building where you just make dated entries and that's kind of it. I haven't used Site, and Site has, it looked like it was going to go away for a while. But Google Site is for making websites that can look exactly how you want them to look.
Okay.
With Blogger,
you have to use their themes
the way Blogger looks.
Right. You have a lot of flexibility there, though, too.
You can change colors. You can change. Yeah, there are things you can change, but it's a lot more customizable in Google Sites.
Okay.
A lot less automatic. All right. So if you agree with me, well, I think that blogger.com is just by far the easiest. All you need is a Google account. If you have a Gmail address, you have a Google account. If not, you can just go to accounts.google.com and sign up for a free Google account. That will get you an @gmail.com address. Then you just go to blogger.com and find the button to create a new blog. You give your blog a title, you find a web address for it, and then you pick a theme. That's what the colors, the look and feel. And you click the button that says create blog, and that's it. That's all there is to creating a blog. Go to blogger.com, fill out this 3-part form. You now have a blog. The hard part is figuring out what you want to say.
Yeah. Well, the hard part might be remembering your username and password.
Your username and password. That has gotten a lot easier, though, in that it's your Gmail address and password. And if you use Gmail, you're probably already logged in. Okay. Which also can be dangerous. Just because you're already automatically logged in doesn't mean that you don't need to remember your password.
Okay.
You don't want to lose all that content because you've forgotten your password. And it happens. All right. So once you have a blog, then start blogging. Each entry is called a post, and it automatically gets stamped with today's date. The post editor is like a word processor. You just type your thoughts. And then there's a button to add photos, make links, and add videos. And then you just click publish. And now it is on the web for all the world to see. So blogs can be personal journals, clubs or websites, or simple business websites. They are public by default, but there are settings to make them private if that's what you want. You can even have both. You can have multiple blogs. So we've often encouraged clubs to have a public blog for all of their members, and then have a private one just for their board officers.
Good idea.
So now I'm going to do a demo. And I'm going to do several things. Now, we usually teach this class just using a computer, and it is a lot easier to do your blogging on a computer. But I do want to show that it can be done on a tablet or even a phone, although much harder. So I'm going to make a new blog using a tablet. I'm going to add post with pictures and links, and then we're going to come to the computer and view it, do a couple other things. And then I'm going to use an iPhone to do a special technique of emailing. And if we get through all that in time, I will show you some examples of blogs. But first, let's just make one. And rather than use my real account and my real site, because there's just a lot of stuff there that would get confusing and I don't want to mess up. We are using a test account that we have. The Gmail address is got guest, and we've registered it to our imaginary friend, Alan. Alan. So Alan was with us at the eclipse, and he said, "This is so cool. I am motivated now to make a blog." Step one, you just go to a web browser. Now, there is actually an Android app for Blogger, but it's a pretty sorry excuse for an app, in my opinion. I just think I much prefer to just go to blogger.com. And this is Alan's Samsung tablet. So he's already logged in. His little avatar is the dolphin up there. And this is Blogger. Now, he's already created one blog before, this one called I Love Florida. But he's done with that. He wants to make a new one. And each blog has this settings and then the list of posts. So if I tap on the little arrow next to I Love Florida, I can see the option for new blog. I'm sorry that they kind of hid this, and if you've never created one, you should see new blog right there when you first go to Blogger. And here's that 3-part form to fill out. So he's all excited about the solar eclipse, but I tell him, you don't want the title. So he was going to make the title of this blog be solar eclipse. And I said, well, no, because if you're going to keep this blog for a while, you'll write about other things besides the solar eclipse. So this is Alan's this is the first time I've been on this, and it's doing something that, okay. So this is Alan's blog. And you can change that title at any time. But this next item is the address. That has to be pretty specific. So let's say he's bound and determined that he just wants to talk about the eclipse. So he says, well, I want my web address to be eclipse. But it checks this address and says that's not available. Somebody has already made a blog on Blogger. See how it says eclipse.blogspot. blogspot.com. So that's how it's free. You're getting a subdomain of the blogspot.com, which is owned by Blogger, but Eclipse isn't going to work. So once again, I tell him that, well, you know, the address should be more generic. So let's try Alan's blog.blogspot.com. It's checking it and it says, nope, somebody else has already taken that.
And that's not too unusual because it has to be unique on the internet.
All right. So how about Alan's imaginary blog?
Imaginary Alan's blog.
Imaginary Alan. All right. This blog address is available. So we have completed the first two parts.
Make a note of that, though.
Yes. So it's Alan's imaginary blog.blogspot.com is the complete address for this new blog that we're just creating. These themes are the look and feel for your blog. You can just pick one, you can change it later. These top four, the first four, have some special features. So I think when you're starting out, you should just choose the one called Simple. So that's it. We have the title, an address, we've chosen a theme, and you tap Create Blog.
Now, you're doing this on an Android tablet, but this could easily be done on an iPad.
Exactly. It is the exact same thing. You just use a Chrome browser.
Okay, now what's this about?
Or Safari if you want. This is saying, so we've decided that the address for this is alansimaginaryblog.blogspot.com. What if he doesn't like that? He wanted to be alansblog.com. And he doesn't like the .blogspot. Well, Google says, okay, that's a custom domain, and Google can sell you for $10 a year a custom domain. But we're not going to do that, because I want it to be completely 100% free, not even $10 a year. All right. There are no posts. Create a new post. And we're not going to be very creative here. So I'm just going to say my first post. My first post. And then this is called the post editor. So it's just like a word processor. All you do is type and you click publish when you're ready. Now, I don't want to take too much time here. So I'm going to use, I'm going to use the microphone. I am Alan, Jim and Chris's imaginary friend, period. This blog will be my home on the web. I usually am following Jim and Chris around, but I may also write about some imaginary stuff. Period. And I probably should have, did I need another period? Oops. All right. Good enough. And Joe, I need to stop it. There we go.
There you go.
I'm going to tap publish.
But since this is like a word processor, you can go back and edit it. You can.
Exactly. Now, this is if your account is connected to Google+, you can have it automatically post onto your Google+, but most people don't do that. You can just cancel here. And there's a setting somewhere where I can turn that off. All right, so we now have a first post. And if I tap on View Blog, there it is. There's the title that we wrote. There's the title of the post. There's what we wrote in the post. And it's even started an archive over here. Now I want to write another post, and we're going to show you how to add pictures and links and videos. So it's not just for text. So new post. And this time, Alan is going to write about the eclipse. Eclipse. All right. And let's see if I can talk to it again. I went to South Carolina with Jim and Chris to watch the total solar eclipse, and it was amazing, period. Here are a couple of photos from that eclipse, period. New paragraph. All right. Now I want to add a photo. So these are all the things you can do up here. And there's the little button to add photo. See why I want to do this on a tablet and not a phone, and why it's even easier on a computer. Tapping that tiny little button is like impossible on a phone. All right. Now, Alan uses Google Photos, and so we tap on from your phone. That means from your Google Photos account. And we have shared some of our pictures with him. So, and they're not there. Okay. How about from the album archive? Hello.
She broke it.
I broke it. All right. Well, maybe I put them on this device and they're not up in his. Yes. And no. Ah. All right. I might have to go out to Google Photos to get the ones because they're not here. July. All right. Let me go look at Google Photos. And this is good for you to see how this works. In his photos, they're
not there.
Well, yeah, the one of
that's okay.
not the okay. And in the sharing, didn't we? In photos for so we shared some photos. Both Jim and I shared some photos and put in his, but there's no eclipse there. All right. Would you share? Well, all right. I'm going to go to my Google Photos and find there. I want the album called Eclipse, and I'll select that photo and that photo, that and that, and add them to the album. No, I didn't want to create a new one.
She's new at this.
I mean, I always do that. Create new album is at the top. No, I want an existing album, Photos for Alan.
I do that too. All the time.
All right. Now, on Alan's tablet, he's gotten a notification, and here are the photos that I just put in his shared album, and I can save to library.
Maybe.
Saving items to library. That means my photos are now in his library.
Okay.
And they should show up.
There they are.
In Blogger.
Okay.
So we're going back to Blogger and cancel. So we can do it again. And posts.
You're in stats.
Yes, I see that. And where to go?
And create a new post.
I guess. Yeah, this is so much easier on a computer. All right. And I went to South Carolina with Jim and Chris to see the total solar eclipse. Here are a couple of pictures. Period. New paragraph. And pictures. And from your phone. And it's not getting them.
That can be a problem.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to have to show you a picture that was already there. It's not of an eclipse, but it is of the sun.
Well, that's adding a picture. I don't know why it wasn't.
Definitely adding a picture. Now let's add a link. So I want to say, if you want to learn all about the solar eclipse, here is a website called eclipse2017.org. So to make a link, the first step is to select the text that you want to be clickable, and that is Eclipse. And to select on a phone or tablet, you long press and then drag the markers. All right. It's and just Eclipse 2017 is going to have to be good enough. There. And then you tap the tool for link. And the website is Eclipse 2017.org. And OK. And publish. And I'm going to cancel that.
That's the share on Google Plus.
Right, that's the share on Google Plus, exactly. Don't need to do that. All right, now let's go over to the computer.
That would be easier.
Really. And let's take a look. So this was Ellen's imaginary blog, right? LNS imaginary blog .blogspot.com, because we didn't spring for the custom domain. And whatever I just created on the tablet should be there on the computer. And notice the first post is at the bottom and the second post is at the top. That's how it works. So for example, if you go to our blog, geeksontour.blogspot.com, that is our personal travel blog, then you know that the top post is the most recent. And I'm behind.
That's a big part of this blog stuff. You have to keep up with it, but you can always go back and put the entries in and predate them or put them in at the proper date.
Absolutely. So I want to add one more post to Alan's blog, but I am not. So what's the first step? The first step is to go to blogger.com, but you want to be logged in as Alan. I am logged in all sorts of places with my account, and I don't want to log out. I might drop off this whole call here if I do. So I'm going to go to a new incognito window, blogger.com, and then sign in as Alan, and his email is gotguest@gmail.com. And
Passwords there.
I'm pretty sure that, no, okay. You have to know the password.
And you do.
All right. So this now is the list of posts, and I could go in, like, which one was it? Both of them had some real errors, right? I could go in and edit now, and I could get rid of that Z, and this one didn't have all that terribly much bad. And I could add a video. This tool right here is insert a video from YouTube.
That's the easiest.
And our friend Don Bradner made an incredible video. So I can just search for Don Bradner. And there's the one pieced together from 499 still images. I can select that. And now that video is part of my post. And I can add some text after it. Say this video was created by our friend Don Bradner. All right. Now, instead of publish, I have an update. And now I can view the blog. And we have, and there's the link. So we have blog created. This is a website has been created where it has Eclipse as the top post. It has links that take you out to other websites. In this case, Eclipse 2017, which is being very slow. And it has a video from YouTube. And there's music accompanied to this too, the theme from 2001 Space Odyssey. You can't hear it, but if you play it now, and anybody, any of you watching right now could go and see this blog right now. You just go to alansimaginaryblog.blogspot.com. You could even leave a comment, although we prefer the comments on the live show. One more thing I want to show you, and that is the settings. So I'm going to close the playing of the blog and get back to this area, which is, it's called the dashboard, or I also call it under the hood. We are looking at Alan's blog, and here are all the different settings. I told you that a blog was public by default, but you could change that. That's in these settings. And privacy, that's not privacy. That has to do with search engines being able to find it.
So you're answering Richard's question right now.
Oh, okay.
When you make a blog, who sees it?
When you first make a blog, everybody sees it. It is by default public. But right here, under settings, basic, permissions, and blog readers, it says public. But if I click on edit, I could make that private to only blog authors. You can add more authors, or private only to these readers. These readers will need to log in, and you have to have their Google account email addresses. That's the only way Google knows how to limit access, is by taking a Google account. So if you wanted it to be private, Then you would add readers and put their email addresses in here. So this is a way to have like a family blog.
Yeah.
Or the blog for your club officers. You know, you just put their emails in here, but those emails have to be attached to a Google account.
And most people have a Google account.
And if not, it's a free one.
Yeah. You don't have to use it for your email, but everybody should have a Google account if they're going to use this stuff.
So I'm going to leave it at public, but there is one more setting here I want to show you. You have unsaved changes. That's fine. Yes, whenever you do change something in here, you have to make sure to click Save Settings. And I said you saw how it's already difficult to do it on a tablet, and it's impossible on a phone. But if a phone is your only option, I suggest making a posting email. So right here, posting using email. The email will be gotguest1 dot and whatever you put in here at blogger.com. And if I say publish email immediately and save settings. So gotguest1 dot buttonshow at blogger.com. Now I'm going to go over to the iPhone. And I'm just going to do 1 second. I've taken a bit more time than normal here. So what that means is in an email, I can create an email. And as long as I address it to gotguest1 dot buttonshow at,
I don't think you got to spell.
Show at blogger.com and subject post from email. All right, and this is just a test to show how we can post from email. And if you want a picture, you use the attachment button, and there we'll attach one of my funky and then send. Now, that email is getting sent to a very special email address. When we go back to the computer and view blog and refresh, there we go. So there is the post from the email. So that's how I recommend using a phone to post to a blog. And that's it. That's it for my demo.
That's
enough.
Yeah. See if you can get back to the slideshow there.
Okay.
Good stuff. Really good stuff. All right. Other questions? Let's see. Well, Lowland says, I found that sync isn't always as immediate as I would like. Yeah, that's where we had the issue with the photos there. She likes the voice input. Let's see. Easy embedding. When you make a blog, who sees it? I guess those are all the questions.
Okay.
All right. We do invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Geeks on Tour, you will get notifications of any new videos that we put up there. Like us on Facebook. We appreciate those likes on Facebook. We have no app of the week this week because Chris is going long.
I knew I would.
And
so.
we knew she would. Okay. So, well, there's questions for you. Did you learn something? 1, to start blogging, go to blogger.com and log in with what account?
Your Google account.
A blog can only be used for a personal journal. True or false?
False.
Blog posts can contain text, pictures, what and what?
Links and videos.
You must use a computer to make a blog. True or false?
False, but it sure is a lot easier.
We just saw that. There is no good mobile app for Blogger. On a tablet, we recommend using what?
Chrome. Stay a web browser.
Yeah,
and go to blogger.com.
Right. And on a phone, what do we recommend you use?
Posting via the special email address that you can set up with your blog.
Okay. A blog must be public. True or false?
False. You can make it as private as you want.
Okay. And how much does Blogger cost?
It is completely free. $0. And I didn't take the time, but I have to just show you a little bit of our blog.
Okay, go ahead.
Just to get the idea of what a blog can really do. So if you go to geeksontour.com, under blogs and news, you will see Chris and Jim's travel blog. And here is this, there's Monday, July 17. I am a bit behind. You can change the dates, by the way. So when I go back and post for the rest of July or the beginning of August, I can predate them. And as you scroll down, you will see a new date. So July 7. Now you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and that is June 19. That is probably not everything, because I have been keeping this blog since 2003. So this is why I say I know Blogger, and it is completely free, and I have pictures and videos forever. I can see what we were doing 10 years ago. In August of 2007, I can see that we went to wineries in California, Central Valley, Mount Shasta. Good stuff. So
that was a traveling month.
Look at that. Yeah. 21 posts. I'm lucky if I do 3 now. But Mount Shasta. And
there's a nice picture.
That was our very first RV. So I just love having this. And I make a book out of each year. And you do that with blog to print. There's lots of videos on how to do all this stuff on geeksontour.com, by the way. So this is just an introduction. For example, how to make these pages, our maps. So these are not dated entries. These are pages for other things. And just want to show you a website made with Blogger that is for a business, rvtaxhelp.com. So this is Honey Shellman. Now she also has a personal blog for her RVing lifestyle, but this she created using Blogger to help and promote her business. This is a business website, and it's completely free. And this is an example of one that has a custom domain. All right, now I'm done.
Sure you
are. I just had to show that. Now, where did... there we go. Now we're ready to finish up. Okay. Unless there's more questions.
All right. So, Chris, what's the webpage that lists all of our weekly shows?
geeksontour.com, and the menu item is weekly show.
and the web page that lists all of our recent newsletters.
geeksontour.com, and the menu item is blogs and news.
And the benefits, what benefits do you get by joining Geeks on Tour?
Complete learning library of prepared tutorial videos where we get to edit out the things that didn't work and ask questions on the member Q&A forum, the show notes for all of these shows, and some discounts on products and services in our Google Photos ebook.
All right. We do invite you to become a member of Geeks on Tour. Just go to our website, geeksontour.com, and click on the link to become a member. Easily done. Next time, we should have a live show next week. And the next show topic will be about Google Photos updates. Every week, it seems there's new things going on with Google Photos, and we're going to try and keep everybody updated on a regular basis for that. So watch for the posting on the next show and the show notes on Wednesday at thebuttonshow.com. If you have an idea for a topic, use the suggestion box there at thebuttonshow.com and let us know what you think. All right, that's it for this week. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we are Geeks on Tour.
Just keep pushing those buttons.
Pushing
Just
those.
try and push a button until something works.
Don't push that button.